Hi, welcome back. We're here to talk about apostrophes again. We talked about apostrophes once already when we talked about rule number 1, using them with contractions. Words like can't and don't. When you're taking two words, can, not, squishing them together, you drop a couple letters, use the apostrophe. Today, we're talking about the second use of apostrophes, and when we use them to show possession or ownership. Go ahead and take a look here at the rule. Apostrophe rule number 2. Use the apostrophe to show possession. Possession means ownership. When your subject owns something or possesses something, then you're going to use an apostrophe in that sentence. The thing can be an actual physical, tangible item. It can also be a quality or a characteristic that a person or a thing might have. As an example, when you say the boy owns a beach ball, you can say it is the boy's beach ball. That apostrophe S shows possession. He owns the beach ball. Here are a couple more examples here. This is Steve's backpack. You can see right here, apostrophe S, Steve owns the backpack. Have you seen Bill's new dog? He is so cute. Bill owns the dog, and so we have apostrophe S for the dog. The bluebird's song is the most beautiful I have ever heard. Bluebird possesses the song. He owns the song. And then final example here, the storm's power raged all night. Notice that the storm is not a person or a thing like a bird. It's kind of a, well, it's a thing. It's not a living thing. But the storm can still own something. The storm possesses the quality of having a strong power, the storm's power. Last thing that I wanted to point out here is that I did use another contraction using rule number 1. We have the words I have squished together to make the contraction I've. Same use of the apostrophe, just different rule. All right, with that said, here are some other resources for you to use if you are so inclined. Here is a website here with a bunch of the rules listed about contractions. You can go ahead and click over to that and scroll through it. There are, as in most cases with grammar, there's lots of rules, lots of things. We've just gone over the first two. So the OWL Writing Lab, the online writing lab, is called the OWL at Purdue. I recommend this website for pretty much anything that has to do with writing. But when we're talking about apostrophe specifically, you can see on this page, there's a whole bunch of rules that you can scroll through and look over. Lastly, I've got this great web page here. It's kind of a comic graphic, how to use an apostrophe. Just follow the arrows and it talks you through whether you need to use an apostrophe or not. I particularly like the example down here at the bottom. To recap here, it says, remember that most apostrophes are used for possessive nouns. If a noun owns something, then use an apostrophe. Bob's jelly bean hat became sticky in the scorching sun. In this case, Bob owns the jelly bean hat, therefore it is Bob's, apostrophe S. You can use it as a contraction. Bob's going to the store to create a bacon hat instead. The Bob's is not possessive. It is a contraction of Bob is going to the store. And then finally, and this is where a lot of students get hung up, the idea of plural. If it's a plural, you do not use an apostrophe. Bacon hats do not melt and they smell wonderful. Hats are plural. There's more than one bacon hat. It's silly, but you gotta love the idea of a bacon hat. Apostrophes. Rule number 1, use them for contractions. Rule number 2, use them to show possession. That's all. See you next time.